Hello everyone. I am Rahela Tayyebi, a positive parenting coach, and I love helping parents shift from correction to connection so they can build stronger, more cooperative relationship with their kids. And today we are here to dive into a topic that plays a huge role in parenting, but often gets unnoticed. How our own eating habits and emotions around food shape the way our kids see food and their bodies. To help us understand this better, I am joined by Vijayata Jain, a Hatha Yoga expert, a Ayurvedic nutritionist who blends ancient wisdom with modern science to help families build a sustainable and mindful relationship with food. She has worked globally from leading corporate wellness programs to guiding mothers and children towards balanced eating habits. I am so excited for this conversation, Vijayata.
Same here, Rahila. Expecting the same. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, do you want to start with sharing something and then I can dive into the questions that I have prepared for you?
We can start. First of all, I just wanted to tell you about, see, the parent and kid, that the topic that we have today, food habits, eating habits,
Mm.
plays a very important role when it comes to overall lifestyle of a parent. And it actually starts not only when the kid is 1 year, 2 year, 3 years old. It actually starts
Mm.
once the motherhood is there on, or a woman goes through a motherhood phase. That is when a mother is when parents, actually now I should not say mother, but it is more of parents get conceived, right? So
Mm.
it is
Yeah,
for a family now, right? So
yeah.
when a mother conceives a baby, a kid, the journey actually starts from there, because the habits that you inculcate, everything starts from the womb, and then finally it comes into the
Mm.
journey of when the kid is coming in the family, joins the family, because the habits that we make, that we give to the kids as parents, definitely that passes on to the kids. So yeah, I
Definitely.
mean, this topic is very, very important today, because I personally believe that in this busy life that we have these days, we do not have time to make home cooked food, or maybe make some traditional recipes, or bring
Mm.
ancient wisdom into our home on a daily basis. So how we can cure it, how we can curb it, how we can actually holistically make changes in our families,
Yeah.
is this is all about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is what we tell in our connection workshop also that kids don't learn from what we tell them to do. They
Yeah,
observe what we are doing. And I'm
correct,
sure when it comes to food also, they pick up habits from us more than we realize. So can you
correct.
explain to parents how their emotional connection with food, whether it's stress eating or using food as reward, unconsciously shapes their kids' eating habits?
First of all, if we are using food as coping mechanism, like
Hmm.
comfort mechanism, that is something where, I mean, not willingly or willingly, unknowingly, we are putting our kids into a situation. Say for example, as you mentioned, how that comfort food and how are we doing the emotional eating. At times, as parents, we don't even realize that when my kid is hungry, right? Actual hungry, correct? So
Hmm.
we know that, okay, maybe 2 hours are completed and we have to make the kid eat. 2 hours are
Hmm.
done, 3 hours are done. Now he must be hungry and the kid has to eat. But
Hmm.
normally what happens, so first of all, if I talk about, because I'm an Ayurvedic nutritionist, if I talk
Hmm.
about Ayurveda talks, does not mention, so Ayurveda mentions food as ahar, okay? Ahar, which should be, which we should have holistically, in the sense
Hmm.
wherein we are aware what we are eating, we are aware what is in the plate, we are aware that whatever we are eating is properly chewed, properly consumed, and then going into the digestive fire, what we call agni of our body, that is called
Hmm.
agni of our body. So in overall, emotion based eating is a comfort mechanism that we are trying to do with kids. Say, for example, how many times I don't know, all the parents out there, all of you out there, if I want to ask you that, how many of you tell your kid that, okay, you complete it and I'll give you a treat? Or
Hmm.
maybe you complete your homework and I'll give you a dessert, right? That is something where you have triggered an emotion. So can anybody out of all of you, how many of for you, if you can just respond into the chat, that if you all can respond into the chat, that how many of you reach out to your kids and tell them that you complete your homework or you complete this and then I'll make you go and play. You eat your food, whatever there is in the plate, and I'll make you go and play. How many of you do that? You can respond into the chat box if you want to. Yeah. So somebody's saying, I do, I did, happens. Sometimes, not always. Sometimes yes. Okay, great, great. Hira mentioned, thankfully, I've never done that. Great, Hira. That's something very nice. Mostly no, I don't. And if in case you are not doing it, thank you, parents. Thank you so much if you're not doing that, because that is when we are triggering the emotion of a kid and we are actually telling them you complete this and then you are ready to do anything, which actually is not right. You're ultimately telling your kid that this is the moment you are able to complete what your mother, father, or anyone outside mother, father, outside the family is also coming to them and saying that you do this and you will get this reward. So that reward
Yeah.
giving thing is really something which triggers emotions unnecessary. And later on, when this kid is grown, this creates a very narrow thinking in his mind, in his or
Hmm.
her mind. Yeah,
Yeah, so
finish
I
food
have
first.
grown up
Sorry.
to be somebody who has I am always stress eating. Like stress eating is one of my major,
Yes, yes,
things.
yes.
Like I am not able to control at times, especially when I'm very stressed. I will need ice cream or I will need something like namkeen type of a thing to just curb it off of me. So yeah, it is with me also. The same thing happens with me.
Right. So when this stress eating or maybe sugar craving happens within a parent, in that case, this passes on to a kid also. So as a parent, you should be very much aware that your cravings will definitely pass on to your kids. So ensure that you are, that's okay. See, you are mature enough to understand that where
Yeah.
to stop, where not to stop, but your kid does not understand that. And as
Mm.
parent, we are the only one who can make them understand that yes, you have to stop here. Kids cannot understand themselves.
Yes, true, true. Like, I usually give this example that the adults, we have an adult brain, so we are able to see the future, but kids do not see that. So,
Kids do not. Kids will only see what you will say to them.
yes.
Up till they are not exposed completely outside, they do not have people to talk about. Until and unless they're getting some more information from outside, they will
Mm,
have every information from you. They will have
yeah.
their notions binded what your thoughts are saying to them. So somebody has mentioned sugar cravings have happened to my kid. He says, I
Mm,
want something meeta. That means their pitta is increasing in the body. So in whenever some a kid is coming to you and telling you that they want something
mm,
please understand somewhere there is some anxiety or something which is in there, which is, or if I talk about Ayurveda, there this is the imbalance of
mm,
pitta dosh, wherein your anxiety is there, hidden anxiety is there, or maybe something which is bothering your kid, which he's not able to clarify clearly, like maybe a suppressed emotion, maybe something happened at school or something like that. If that craving is increasing, please speak to them, sit with your kid. And that can happen very often, because kids, when they go to school, they meet a lot of new people other than our parents and our family. So that happens very naturally to them. But then offering them with directly with the meetha is not a great idea, although. Okay. Yeah, I'll get back to you, Shailaja, for Pitta Dosh. I'll get back to you on that. We'll cover that as well.
yeah, I mean, like
Um,
outside also, I see like a lot of parents, like they themselves eat a lot of junk, offering kids a lot of junk. So I think the cycle just goes on in that ways. Like
yes, yes,
we
yes,
are
yes.
Like when you eat healthy or your kids will eat healthy, it's like that.
I would certainly agree to this, but at times, because when a
Hmm.
kid comes in this new world, he's adaptive to, he has to adapt a lot of things,
Yes.
which we are used to of, right?
Hmm.
So which is why it is generally said that for initial 6 months to 1 year, we are not supposed to give a kid other than breastfeed. Correct.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. Don't give him too much, other than maybe after 6 months, you can start some water. But if a
Hmm.
mother is breastfeeding for 1 year, this is the best time, because the less taste they have, at least for 1 year, because after 1 till 3 years, a baby is not able to understand. Okay,
Hmm.
as per the latest research that has come in,
Yeah.
till 3 years, a baby is not able to understand a lot of things. That okay, this is what I want, this is what I want, do not want. This happens when you start introducing rasa or taste to your kids. So,
Hmm.
yes, this is true. If you eat healthy, the kid, not necessarily that kid will always eat healthy, because it also depends that what kind of taste you have given to the kid. And once they're exposed out after 2 years, because you start making them eat some kind of grains, some kind of different sweets that are made at home. So what taste they like, what they do not like would actually depend. Then they will start coming to you. Okay, no, I want that meat only, or probably I
Yeah.
want this only. Some
Hmm.
babies come up and tell you that okay, he's eat. At times this also happens, Rahela, that say for example, whatever you have introduced to a 1.5 year of kid, or
Hmm.
1 year kid, or 1.5 or 2 year kid, you see that he eats that food without creating any kind of problem, or without any
Yes.
tantrums, without any irritation. So you tend to make them eat that food more and more.
Yeah.
But that's
True.
again, that's comes to us as parents, that we don't have to do that. It's better to understand, and that habit starts from after 2 years, maybe 1.5 or 2 years, once the breastfeeding is over.
But see, this is one question that I usually get is like I'm sure we all have been there, whoever is there on the call today. Like when a child is upset, we'll give them a cookie and say, "Come on, let's get an ice cream. It will make you feel better." It
Yes.
sometimes feels like a act of love, but what are the long-term effects this can have on a child's relationship with food?
Long-term effects, as you mentioned, maybe act of in the form of act of love. If I talk about ice cream, see, all these act of love come out of dopamine that we have in our bodies. Okay, the
Yes.
dopamine increases in your body. It is an emotion in your body. It is a hormone in your body which increases, especially for a mother. It is something that you want to give to your kid. Okay, my kid is happy. It's okay. Sometimes it is okay. I can give them. However, nowadays, thanks to a lot of exposure that we have got, we have very much awareness towards sugar. Now we are talking about diabetes. Now we are talking about healthy food, junk
Yeah.
food. Anushka has just asked, we stay in the UAE, and I've seen the shopping basket includes a lot of junk food, which I don't, but in school, he sees all eat, and it's difficult to manage that. So
Mm.
again, Anuksha, right? Yeah, Anuksha. So I will address that question as well, Anuksha. But when I talk about long-term effects, don't give your kids food that is, again, I would go back to the word comforting to them, because sugar, say for example, if you're giving ice cream, that instantly increase insulin in the kid.
Mm.
And though insulin in a kid is at a growing stage, is in the process of it naturally begins when they're growing. So it's not necessary that insulin hormone is completely at a developed stage. It is growing. So do not, I mean, first thing that a long-term effects that happens is sugar cravings. They will have increased sugar cravings. They can have type 2 diabetes, because as I said, that
Mm.
insulin hormone is not completely developed. That will be grown at after a certain age. You as
Mm.
parents, you know everything about your hormones. You are aware that okay, a kid's insulin can increase. So when you're introducing an ice cream, start introducing them that And I mean, I would rather say that without saying something like, don't have ice cream, start giving them good options by yourself. You give an
Yeah,
option to them rather than
correct.
giving them, no, let's have ice cream. So don't take name of ice creams. Or you come up with an ice cream which you have cooked at home, maybe a fruit ice cream which you've cooked at home. You should be knowing a lot of other, try to have some kind of alternative vocabulary of ice cream, or maybe too much of desserts or sweet or something like that. So
Yeah,
long term
I
effects.
have personally felt always is in this matter, like I practice baby-led weaning with Zen. So what I have practiced is like no food is a special food. Like, suppose if
Yes.
we are making something sweet, I will serve it with normal plate. Like, even if sometimes he wants
Yeah.
to have a biscuit or something like that, also I will give it in his plate. So he knows that this is a
Yes.
part of the meal, not something as a treat that you will get later for
Yeah,
eating the
and
food.
yes, and because Rahila, you just mentioned that in India, we have this tradition that if we have to eat meetha is a celebration, right?
Yeah,
Sweet is a celebration. In fact, at homes, you will find a different crockery altogether for serving desserts. So
yeah.
that is something very common. That means kids feel, oh, that is something special that is coming to me and I have to eat it. So make
Mm.
it more normal. Meetha is important. Sweet is definitely very important because it helps a kid building insulin and their hormones as well. So that it does not mean, I do not say that you do not have to make your kids eat sugar. Please make them eat sugar. Sugar is not the problem. How they are consuming that sugar is very
Yes,
important, right?
true.
Should I take a question? Rachita has also
Yeah,
asked
sure,
one.
sure.
Yeah, so my kid doesn't eat much chocolate, but she keeps asking her grandpa almost every other day for chocolates. Gems, he
Mm.
tries his best not to give. She gets her way with him though. Yes, that's right, Vaishnavi. And in that case, most importantly, all the females who are staying in joint families with their grandparents, I completely understand the pain, because you cannot say your father-in-law, go ahead to them and tell them that don't do this, mama, I am not going to do this, but make some healthy boundaries. Try
Yes.
to make your kid understand, or in case, see, as you mentioned that your kid keep asking to your grandfather that yes, he want to eat chocolate, try to give your kid a different option. Maybe start introducing dates rich in iron. Start making some sweet at home which includes dates. In fact, we have now in India very much available. Outside India, everywhere we have Brazilian nuts, hazelnuts available, which are very good, rich in selenium. These are very good for kids growth. Try to incorporate all these things and make something at home and make them eat. And chocolate is not bad, but in case you're making that chocolate at home, nothing better than that. So I'm just
Mm.
trying to say, even if they're eating chocolate outside, they should have a taste of sweet, which includes chocolate at home as well. So that they can always come back and say, no, I like my mom made chocolate sweet or something like that. But
Yeah,
if you're not
there are
incorporating
a
that,
lot of brands also making healthier options these days. Like
there are.
there are a lot of brands like for chocolate. Like I prefer Banter Kitchens.
Yes, Banta
They are
Kitchen.
very nice. Plus, there are some moms who are like women entrepreneurs. They are making chocolate laddus at home, and so you
Yes,
can opt for
yes.
those options also.
Yes. Shreya asked which is the best way to expose kids to sugar, right? So make them, as you make them eat sugar. So first, make them eat sugar. I will give you one recipe. So you might all know about dalia, correct? Make them eat dalia with good sugar and ghee in it. Very good to gain, if in case your kid has to gain weight and not necessarily, I mean, you are worried about his or her weight, give them this dalia with good ghee and sugar. They will literally very much like it. If you want, you can add some chocolate to it as well. That is not viruddhahar as per Ayurveda. And grate some coconut into it, a good fat for the body. And same helps in growing uh, kids overall. That, I mean, it helps in overall growth of a kid. Somebody asked me that my kid, whenever he come back to school, just for biscuits a lot. I mean, he want to eat only
Mm.
biscuits or something like that. I am not sure. Yeah, Rachita, I guess. So Rachita, when your kid is coming back home and he's only demanding biscuits, are they homemade biscuits? Are they try to give them biscuits made out of some kind of millets, maybe ragi biscuits. Even if you're giving atta biscuits, ensure that it is homemade first, and include jaggery in your biscuits. That's the best thing. Our second thing, whenever your kid is coming from school, that means your kid is very much tired, maybe exhausted. That means his kapha. So that is a kind of element that we talk about in Ayurveda. Kapha is increased that time. So for that, give him something liquid to eat, something very warm, which can be anything. Like you can give him a good, nice paratha, which you can make immediately and give your kid to eat, because sugar is a craving, and you can only divert it with hot food. Okay, if you give if you give a yeah, give your kid something which is hot, which has ghee into it, or maybe something which is white butter, I'm telling you,
Mm.
he will not crave for sugar at that specific moment. Or in case if you're asking for cookies, give a date to him. I encourage dates a lot because it has a lot of benefits, and at this age, kids won't get a lot of diabetes problem and all that. So yeah, I'll slowly take the questions. We are getting a lot of questions here.
Yeah.
So
Um,
yes.
So, Vijayata, the next question I wanted to ask you was like a lot of us, when we were growing up, we were always told that we should not waste food, finish your plate, eat this, and then only you can have dessert. These seem like very small things, but they also shape the way kids view food and their own bodies as they grow up. So, what is your take on this?
Um, my take on this would be, as parents, when you say your kid that complete the plate, complete all the veggies in the plate, and something like that, again you are trying to bound your kid into one plate. Understand that with whether your kid is really hungry or not. If your kid is not hungry, and this is not only for 2 3 years old, this is up to teenagers. Okay, so up to teenagers also, I'm telling you, make at the moment a kid is exposed to a lot of things, they will start to have their own brain, right? Now it's the duty of parents that make them understand that, okay, how can you divert that exposure into right direction. So
True.
finishing the entire plate is not important. The elements on the plate are very, very, very important, and how well they are consumed is very important, right? So even if a kid is not able to complete the entire plate, do not force it on the kid. It's okay. Let them come hungry and tell you that I'm hungry, I want to eat something. And this, when the kid do, and when a kid come to you and say that I'm hungry and I want to eat, make them something which is cooked at home, which is rich
Mm.
in protein and fiber and everything. So I do not want to talk about a lot of protein fiber here, but yes, a lot of mothers are there who want to talk about, who generally focus on growth of a kid. But just want to tell you, all of you, that protein is not only everything, that only through protein a kid can grow. No, nothing like that. Because after 14, 15, 16 years, these kids will be exposed to gyms and everything, and they will only focus on protein. So
Mm.
in a
True.
plate, you should have, if I talk about Ayurveda, we talk about 6 rasas in Ayurveda. Okay, so 6 rasas, which is sweet, sour, bitter, spicy. All these kind of rasas should be there in a plate. So try to include a lot of warm cooked food, maybe some chutney, some pickle. Pickle again. If I talk about pickle, it is rich in vitamin D. So start
Yeah.
giving it to your kid because it is rich in vitamin D. Don't hesitate yourself. But before all this, I would always say, Rahila, that get your kid uh, dosha tested. Everyone who is born within the moment they're out of their mother's womb, they
Mm.
are born with the element that I just spoke about, 3 elements: vata,
Mm.
pitta, and kapha, right? So vata is all about Vata element is responsible for the movement of food in our body.
Okay.
Pitta is responsible for the digestion of that food, that
Mm,
is Agni that we talk about, digestive fire. So
mm,
Pitta is responsible for digestion, made up of fire element. And Kapha is metabolism, to
okay.
to get this food digested completely and provide iron, mineral, vitamins to our body is the responsibility of kapha. So that means earth element. So earth absorbs soil. Fire
Mm,
work is to digest it, accumulate it, and air work is to move the food in the entire body. So know the dosha of your uh, kid, and then start giving them food, because dosha also changes with time, maybe after 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, every
mm.
5 years it is possible that the dosha of a kid changes. But normally, if I talk about forcing a kid to complete a plate is definitely not going to make sense,
Yeah,
because ultimately
definitely.
the kid will understand like that.
Yeah, I grew up in this kind of pressure, like food should not be wasted. You should always complete whatever is there on your plate. Sometimes it even led to a lot of overeating, but still I would keep on eating just to complete the plate, and like an adult also, I find it very difficult to regulate my hunger now also in places like this. So I have seen it a lot of times. Like earlier, I have talked about it a lot on my page also. I used to force feed Taha, my little one. I didn't
Okay.
know कि कैसे खाना खिलाते हैं बच्चों को. I didn't know that. So what I used to do is I would just prop down a mobile phone or a screen, and I would just feed him forcefully all his meals. So, and I used to feel कि he's so thin, he needs more food, he needs more food, but his weight never increased because of it. And his relationship
Mhm.
with food was also very bad because of it. Now, also, the first thing he will detach himself is food. Like, food is still something he's scared of sometimes. I see that. And it's been like long, like, it's been almost 6 years that I've stopped doing all that. 6, 7 years I've been stopped doing that. But it takes time for our kids to understand their own hunger cues also. When we are forcing them that eat last bite, like, I read a book, I think by Rujuta Devekar, in which she says ki that one bite that you're leaving on the plate is not helping you, is not helping solve the world hunger problem also. So
Exactly.
a lot
So
of people think कि अरे कितने लोग भूखे हैं and तुमने इतना सारा खाना छोड़ दिया on the plate. So sometimes, yeah, we think in that manner, but just think of it anyways, that food is going to waste in your body also.
in your body also, absolutely. Now if we talk about milk, most
Hmm.
common topic for all the females, that the
Yes.
kids do not want to have milk probably, and at times kids. So I would just say here, because you've just said that it is about what we spoke about plate, right? That okay, we think that इतना सारा खाना फेंक जाएगा, ये हो जाएगा. So ultimately our gut system is not a dustbin at the same time, right?
Yes.
So it happens also with milk. Earlier
Hmm.
times, the kind of milk we were getting was from what source we were getting, it was very different. Nowadays, the milk that you get is not necessarily is from a good source. Still, parents want their kids to have milk maybe once, twice, or thrice in a day at times. But
Hmm.
if your kid is having milk normally and with full interest, please give it to them, because anything which they will have with full taste will easily be digested, consumed well, and you will see the difference in their growth as well. But if a kid
Hmm.
is denying that I don't want to have kid, and then you are adding some additives to it, like Bonvita or maybe Horlicks or something like that, whatever you are adding to it, up to, I mean, just to make the milk tasty, it is not going to work, because ultimately your kid is running away from milk. Now, adding something to it is adversing the situation. So, if in case your kid is not okay to have milk, we can have a
Yeah.
pause there for some days.
Yeah, I have never felt like, means after I stopped feeding, force feeding Taha, then I realized that what is the point of doing this? Like,
Yes.
once you start learning more about it. So there is another book by Carlos Gonzalez. It's called My Child Won't Eat. In that book,
Yes,
he
my child
writes,
won't eat.
yes, it's a wonderful book. That book
Wonderful
changed my
book.
perception, honestly, that I should not be force feeding him. I read it like I think
Yes.
7 years back, and I loved that book. So, in that book, he writes that when I grew up older, I never ate veggies because they could never make me eat veggies. So it's not like if you're forcing your child to eat veggies in the younger time, then they will eat veggies when they are older, because you have
Yes,
fed
correct.
it so much to them that when they will have their own body autonomy, they will say no to it. No, I don't want it.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah,
I am also
correct.
somebody who doesn't like veggies at all. But now I understand that it is good for me, so I can force myself to eat it. Like, I prepare a portion of it for myself so that I consume it every day. So that
Yes,
comes with your
absolutely.
own understanding at a later level. But forcing kids to eat it will not result in them liking it at all.
Yeah, as I said, Rahela, it all comes from parents. And mostly, I'm so sorry to all the females out there, it comes from a mother, not even father. It actually comes from a mother because
Mhm.
this is the actual truth that 9 months a baby is there in a mother's womb, right?
Yeah,
Yes, a father can be very supportive, helpful, and do a lot of things to support mothers, but whatever you will go through in those 9 months, whatever you will give to your kid will definitely be reflected in your kid eating habits, sleeping patterns, and joyfulness. Everything will be reflected on your kid. So
yeah,
as parents, we have to ensure that we are very much sustained. At the same time, we are very much uh, self-love that we talk about. I really want to say to all females that start giving everything yourself, because only then you will be able to reciprocate it to your outer world. Right. So
true.
Shamin has asked a question: is it okay to give food to kid every time they ask for food, or stick to a schedule? Um, please stick to a schedule, because lifestyle is very, very important. And due to these lifestyle disorders, Shamim, a lot of disorders and diseases happen in our body. One of the most common, which I spoke about on my Instagram page, is inflammation. You don't even realize, a lot of kids are not only, I have spoken about, because this was very common in Vidya Balan these days. So it was all
Yeah.
out that Vidya Balan has been cured because she had inflammation, but it's not necessary. That's only happens at the age of 30, 40, 50. No, that happens very normally at the age of 10, 15, and 18 as well. Right. So please stick to a schedule. That's very, very important.
Um, because we were talking about this, was actually my next question, that if a parent has their own struggles with emotional eating, like I said, I stress eat or I don't like veggies. So what's one shift that they can make today to create a healthier mindset for themselves and their children?
We were just talking about from forcing
Yeah.
to encouraging,
Okay.
right?
Hmm.
So where do not force your kids, rather encourage. So in case you want to tell your kid, okay, that kid is coming to you and telling you that I want to have ice cream. Ask now, try to figure out what is craving him to have that ice cream, right?
Yeah.
First, have a 1 minute talk to your kid and see. I want to bring it out because I'm glad that a lot of people have joined us in this webinar. So I'm just trying to bring this out. Nowadays, it's not easy to become pregnant, or I should say a motherhood is not easy these days, right? We have a
Yeah.
lot of procedures because of which we want to get pregnant, but how many of us are responsible to take that pregnancy to a healthy lifestyle as well? We want to get pregnant, we deliver a baby, but what after that? So from there actual work starts. You have done, a lot of people do a lot of, nowadays a lot of procedures are there to
Yeah.
conceive. But then those 9 months, yes, they are very important, but at the same time, from there starts everything. Like start talking to your kid. I'm not talking about 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, but even when a mother is breastfeeding, try a lot of different things, like what emotion are you going through, that kid will have in him
Yeah.
or her. So Please ensure that at the time of uh, first is conceiving a baby is a
Hmm.
holistic approach. Second, breastfeeding a baby. Try to talk to your baby whenever you're breastfeeding. I know every 2 hours a woman has to go through this, but whenever you are taking your baby in your womb, close in your arms, close to your chest, have that conversation, maybe a 1 minute. The baby will not understand, but that connection of your kid and your mother will change everything. And
It
whatever you
actually
will
does.
say to the kid is really going to matter the most. So for do not when coming back to the topic forcing, Rahila, so I would rather say to all parents, start encouraging topics, start encouraging asking questions. Okay, why do you want to have ice cream? Or maybe let's have something different to eat. Let me cook something for you, or you will have to come up and give options to them. And
Hmm.
always have reasoning, why this sweet, why this ice cream, especially for sweet cravings. Always parents should have question. And when they understand that, okay, fine, maybe it's once a month, twice a month, it's okay. But that once a month craving, somebody asked a question that, can I give ice cream once a month? I don't remember that question, I was just reading. So even if you're giving your kid once a month ice cream is not a problem. The only thing is you should know what emotion is triggering that.
Yeah.
If a kid is having that ice cream out of anxiety, out of because kids are not able to express, right? They're not able to say a lot of things to us. So the more you will communicate to them, they will know, okay, I'm going to ask next time. Then when kid will come to you and ask you, I want to have ice cream, they will know they will have to answer why they want to have ice cream. So this is a reverse psychology. If I talk about, this is a reverse psychology where you have to understand where that emotion is coming from.
Yeah.
So yeah, one
When we
shift
set
is,
boundaries, I usually tell parents the same thing, that just don't
yeah,
set boundaries according to you, but problem solve it with your child. Like, what can
absolutely,
we do instead of this? What do you think will be better? So, when you are problem solving with your child, the child is coming up with a solution, they are more likely to follow that boundary. Like,
absolutely.
because they are using their own brain for it, they are using their own emotions for it, so they like, and if we are being authoritative ki, no, because I have said no, it won't work, like I said, when they'll grow up they will not understand why my mother was saying no for it.
Yeah, that's correct. And see, whatever you want to see in your kid, you will have to model that. So model your behavior into a kid, and only parents can model that, right? It cannot happen ki, theek hai, I am eating ice cream, you eat your veggies. That's
Yeah.
not possible. So when you are thinking to plan a family, when you're thinking to plan a baby, it's very important to have discipline in life for
Yes.
some duration. And once you have that discipline in your life, your kid will automatically have. And why I'm saying this, and I can see a lot of questions are coming on meetha, a lot of questions are coming on sugar cravings.
Yeah, I
Yes,
think it
so
is very common in Indian households
very
that they
common.
have meetha or namkeen as always something that is present in the house. So
Correct.
I always tell them that who is buying this? First think,
Yeah,
who
who's
is
buying
buying this?
this?
You are the
Yeah,
adult in the
absolutely.
house, you are buying it. So if it is there, somebody has to consume it. So
Absolutely right.
slowly start eliminating these things from your house, and start getting in more healthier options for these things. Replace them with a little healthier options. I understand when we live in a joint family, it is difficult for a lot of parents. And but r- now I think the best thing or the worst thing that has happened with our generation is that even grandparents have WhatsApp. So,
Yeah,
I
correct.
I what I keep
Mm.
on doing is, if I find some kind of study कि मीठा क्यों नहीं देना चाहिए बच्चों को, some YouTube link or some expert is saying about it, I fast forward it to my dad and my father-in-law कि क्यों नहीं देना चाहिए बच्चों को. So,
Correct.
constant reminders for them also has helped कि okay, because see, they also know as adults कि it is not good for our bodies, but the thing is that they think it is of an act of love that mama is not giving all the time, so let me only give to this child to become the favorite of the child. Dada and nanas are usually in that mode with children.
Yeah, correct, correct. Absolutely. So that's why
We
I'm
have
saying
to educate them also, and I would say that educate them without any blame. Like don't blame them.
educate
पापा
them
मैं आपको
without
मना
any
करती
blame.
हूँ मत दो फिर भी आप दे रहे हो. That will not help. Like it
That will
this
not help.
yeah, it again creates a power struggle between you and the in your in-laws or your parents.
Correct, correct. And more than that, I would like to say, Rahila here, that see again, somebody asked a question ki, I have set my kid that they will eat, he will eat ice cream only on Sunday. So once a week, eating ice cream is difficult. If eating ice cream is not difficult, I can answer all these questions. But first, as I said, try to understand, is that coming every Sunday? That means, is he waiting for that Sunday? Okay, Sunday is coming. I have to eat ice cream. And then what amount of ice cream you're giving to your kid? That's also important. It's good that you are trying to schedule it every week, but then again, an emotion is triggered. The moment you are sitting there, I mean, you are fixing a schedule there. Yes, okay. Every Sunday we will eat ice cream. Now, if it is coming naturally to your kid, हाँ ठीक है Sunday आ गया है and I have to eat ice cream, that's okay. But then it cannot be 3 scoops, 4 scoops, 5 scoops, or something like that, right? So it's good that you are barring something. That's really nice. But please understand as well the same thing, that is, if you are not giving that ice cream on Sunday, is he getting irritated? Is he getting loud? Is he getting anxious? That emotion is very important to understand. If the kid is able to balance that emotion, please give your kids ice cream. And ice cream is not a problem. I'm not against ice cream. That's okay. Kids need to indulge in a lot of things. That's absolutely fine. But at the same time, understand how much are they consuming it. And a lot of people are asking me here that मीठे के अलावा हम क्या दे सकते हैं, हम क्या नहीं क्या कर सकते हैं, some anything. मैंने अपने पहले I mean when we started I discussed about start giving your kid a date every day, every day. This is just I want to say to all of you, the more you will start giving them some dates. I mean, that doesn't mean that you have to give dates 4 5 dates de diye ek sath or something like that. Once they are up, once they had their milk and everything, once they're leaving for school, rather than giving them chocolates or something like that, give them a date. This will really help them. Unka meethe ka craving or maybe good you can start, but not too much. But I mean, sugar is something, don't introduce sugar to them very easily. And for
Hmm.
that, you will have to bring changes in your eating habits. Start
Right.
introducing millets. Like ragi halwa is there, ragi laddus are there. Ragi is rich in protein and calcium at the same time. Very good for kids. And
Hmm.
uski chocolates banti hain aajkal. Bahut sahi cheezein hoti. So try to figure out options of meetha. There are a lot of options. I will not go and promote stevia or uh, we have this kind. What is that sugar? I'm not able to get it, the flavored sugars or something like
Hmm.
that, which
It's
I
quite
don't want
famous
to
these days,
promote.
yes.
Yeah. So I don't want to promote that. Give them sugar, homemade laddus, homemade things with ghee and some shakkar into it. It's absolutely fine. But as I said, please understand the craving behind it. नहीं दोगे तो क्या कर रहा है बच्चा? वो समझना बहुत जरूरी
Yeah, so my kids also have had this rule like earlier. Now they are a little grown up. So कभी कभी होता है ना कि they'll get a chocolate in school, they will eat it. And I'm like,
है.
I've become
Yeah.
okay with it now. कि ठीक है, how
Yeah.
much
I
can
mean,
we control? We cannot.
absolutely.
So and but I am just happy that they come and share it with me that Mama, I had a chocolate today. So now I know that okay, this week they have had this chocolate, so how I can control in other things. That sugar thing. Like they have a rule, they've always had a rule that Saturday, Sunday they can get a chocolate. But it is only one piece of chocolate, like one bar of dairy milk, like not pura dairy milk also.
Yeah, correct.
Just one bar of dairy milk. Like my little
Yeah,
one is a little louder in these things. Nahi, I want more. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I can't give you more than this. This is what we are having.
yeah,
And if we know that if we are going to go out or if we are going to have some kind of celebration कि कुछ cake आने वाला है घर में or some kind of meetha is already there, then I tell him that I can't give it to you today also or I can only give you a little quantity because anyways we are going to have that. So,
correct,
I
correct.
feel that reinforcing again and again that if you are having something, it's okay to have that. But what are the
Absolutely.
other healthier options that you can take is I
And
think what you have been, yes,
that's what
focusing
I
on
just said,
also.
that focusing. what alternative option you can give to your kid? You should
Hmm.
always have an alternative option. Not necessary it's only meat. Kids can come and talk about, I want chips, Lays. We have a big brand there. So I'm just trying to say that we can always have chips, potato chips, uh, Pringles, and all those stuff we have there. So that is also not healthy. At the same time, it's not just meat. There are fried, lot of junk processed foods are there, and supermarket is completely filled with options which lure you towards all these kind of products, correct? So first, as you said, as you were also saying, Rahela, before, I mean, just before this, that you try to give them better cookies option, right, from a brand. Always try to read labels. What does it have? And don't go and read calories. Kids, it's not important. Important is which oil they are using. That's very important to understand. Don't look at fat side. What is the fat consumption, calorie consumption? Try to understand what oil they are blending it into. What kind of oil is it made of ghee? Is it made up of oil? If oil, which oil? There are multiple. There are a lot of questions I'm getting for dates as well. That dates. Which brand you would suggest or something like that. Uh, I cannot promote any brand at this moment. I don't do that normally,
Hmm.
but I can just only say brands which have beej in it, जिसमें seeds होते हैं already. Try to consume those dates. Do not consume seedless dates because
Hmm.
we don't know what they are induced with. They are very sweet in taste, so don't unnecessarily consume a lot of dates which are seedless. Try to consume dates with seeds. Yeah. So
I think somebody is unmuted. Yeah, it's
unmuted, yeah.
yeah.
And one thing, just one more thing. A lot of questions that yes, summers are coming. Dates in summer, not a problem because you're not. Can you mute Rahela to them?
Yeah, I'll do
Yeah. So summer, you're not making your kid eat lot of dates together. Try to make a date mithai out of it. Maybe you can use nuts and dates together. Make it and give one piece on a daily basis and have some chocolate. Wrap it up with the chocolate and give it to them. This is
Hmm.
a very that unwrap it up with some chocolate and some desiccated coconut, okay, dry coconut, or if you have fresh coconut, wrap it up with that chocolate and give it to them. This much of dates will not harm kids. This will not increase heat in the body, so not a problem at all. Cow milk
Yeah.
is very much recommended, and till what age? So after breastfeeding, I would say after 5, no, not after 5, in fact, after 6 to 7 years, you can try incorporating cow milk.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
so
not before that because cow milk is difficult to digest initially, but not very difficult. Once you make a habit, it is easy to consume.
So one shift that we can make from today onwards is that we make more healthier food choices ourselves. So our children see
Absolutely.
that and they eat that. Uh,
Yeah.
but Vijayata, I have to ask you this. We all have such busy schedules. Like I am someone who is always complaining that I don't have time.
Yes.
I know
Yes.
how long I took to take this call with you also because I was
I know.
always struggling for time. So it is very easy, these days to rely on quick meals, snacks, and sometimes even skip meals altogether. But
Yeah.
what would you suggest that we do for a child's energy, mood in the long-term habit? And like, because we live in a world of Swiggy and Zomato, which has become so easy for us to order and eat whatever we want to. So, how we can model that kind of behavior for our children? Like, are there any tips for busy moms that you would want to give that it is easier for them to, you can save these things and it is easier to quickly give a healthier option to your child or something like that?
Yes, yes, absolutely. So this is a very common question that comes in, Rahela, correct?
Hmm.
So I would rather say not I would like to give you some tips, like say for example, make healthy food the easy choice. Say like um introduce them to some healthy options like makhana we have at home, wheat puffs we have, ragi puffs we have. Try to introduce some kind of foods which are very so. very healthy. So in say for example, a kid is asking for chips, try to introduce them to makhana. Why not? Right? Once they're well roasted in ghee or something like that, they taste very good. You can make you can make makhana chaat out of it. Put some cheese into it, make it somewhere, make some put some raw veggies into it and give them. So I'm just trying to say, first, try to give some healthy option to your kid. Nowadays, wheat puffs are available. We have ragi puffs available. We have uh, all these are available outside in the market as well. But I won't say that all these are baked. Most of them are not fried, and puffs are never fried. Okay, so you can introduce those options to them, and then as I said, second in healthy option is date mithai. Start giving that date mithai to them, or make some. Uh, Nowadays, granola is so famous.
Yeah.
Granola bars and this and that. You just have to mix your normal seeds with some oats. Even if you don't want to give oats to your kid, it's absolutely fine. घर का दाल चावल भी अगर आप खिलाओगे तो भी बहुत अच्छी growth होगी आपके बच्चे की. We don't always have to run around the facades that are going on in the market, right? So just give
Mhm.
them normal ghar ka khana. Whatever you are eating, ensure that goes into the plate of the kid. So you
Exactly.
eat right, your kid will automatically. I know everyone is busy, so don't make any special arrangement for your kid, because they
Mhm.
should know, okay, my mom is eating, that means I can eat. My father is eating, that means I can also eat. We can only innovate new things. Like nowadays we have a lot of availability of broccoli. We have, I mean, Rahila, if agree with me, I mean, you would definitely agree with me, we didn't have all these options.
Yes, we did. Like
we
I I remember like we have never had an option of mostly evening snacks in our house because
Yeah, we
we
never
usually eat
had.
dinner very early. So
Very
I have
early.
always thought of evening snack as some kind of fruit, milk, or makhana. These are the three things I have given to my kids on loop. Like every day, one
Yes.
makhana bowl, fruit, or sometimes a fruit bowl. That's it. Like
Yeah,
maximum
absolutely.
I would do for them is soaked poha and milk, mix it with some fruits and give them. That is the
Yeah.
maximum amount of energy I've spent on evening snacks. Aaj tak.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that we never had option, but still we knew कि okay, my mom and dad are eating, I have to eat it.
Yes.
So don't do anything very much special for your kid. Yes, they are very special, but you have to make them special in the terms of their emotions. Understand their anxiety, understand their stress. You don't have to understand their food.
Sometimes I feel like we have had a lot of mothers in today's session who have done even my solids workshop where I talk about distraction feeding and force feeding. Like a lot of kids eat with screen and all these things. So I shared this link with those mothers also because I wanted them to be here today. So,
Okay.
I when even I was I like I said, I used to force feed Taha. So, I used to make
Mm-hmm.
special meals for him every single day, adding a lot of ghee, milk, and all these things, and they were so tasteless. Like uske after he had finished it, nobody else wanted to eat that. So,
Absolutely.
sometimes it happens like when we are putting out ourselves out there, and like now the Instagram has tons of recipes. We make those recipes, kids reject that, moms feel even more rejected. Ki, I am taking in so much effort for the child, but the child will not eat the food that I'm offering. So,
That also happens, Rahila. See, there are a lot of recipes now because I'm coldly into Ayurveda. Not necessarily, like I have done my nutrition, clinical nutrition and Ayurvedic nutrition both. So, but I follow Ayurveda a lot. So, if a kid is of a different prakriti that I just mentioned, kid will always reject that food. Some or
yeah.
the other element is imbalanced in a kid's overall constitution, which is why the kid is rejecting that food. And please understand, if the kid is rejecting, don't force it, right? So say for example, mothers can always do introduce colors in the form of food on their plate. So rather than saying that don't eat sugar, yeah, no sugar, no junk food, no processed food, it's better you start saying them, let's add color to your plate. Let me add some red color, let me add some green color, let me add some yellow color. So that makes it very interesting at the same time. So that is when I'm saying ghar ka khana. If you're eating normal dal, rice, chutney, salad, or try to introduce salads to them, so they will easily eat it. You don't have to make some extra efforts to it. Paneer is, because I'm getting these questions. Yes, as I said, protein is important for your kid, but not at this age. Fiber is very, very important at this age, because a kid should not have problem with with the digestion, and fiber is only responsible for that, right? So yes, make them eat paneer, make them eat cheese, even make them eat ice creams and everything, but please understand the emotion. Meetha bhi agar unko khana hai, to please understand the emotion where it is coming from. And if you're not giving that specific thing which they're asking, understand if the kid is getting irritated, anxious, then you will have to stop it there itself, work on that emotion, and then restart it.
Mhm.
That's the most important thing. So, second most important, and I was even going through your page, Rahel, and I see that you mentioned about screen timing. You worked on to screen timing and everything. So this is very important, and thank you for taking this up as well. At the same time, when you're eating food, ensure that that the kid is involved with you, talking to you, maybe reading a story with you or something like that, but not completely involved in TV. And this habit, I know lot of mothers are doing this, ki TV chalu kar do, kid will eat the food.
It is definitely so much easier. Like I have
So much
done
easier,
both
so
of
much
them.
easier.
So I will tell you, it is so much easier to feed your child with screen. Like it doesn't take any effort from your end. But what I saw was his hunger cues were gone. Like in 3.5 years, when I force fed him, his hunger cues were gone after that. Like sometimes he would ask my husband, like if he was feeding him. Like he didn't obviously self feed for a very long time, but whenever we used to have food together, or my husband was feeding him, he would ask him. My husband would ask him, "Are you done?" And he would say, "Mama se पूछो, मम्मा को पता है कि मेरा हो गया है कि नहीं." He didn't know because he was so always engrossed in screen that he didn't understand how much
Exactly.
he's eating, what he's eating. Sometimes, if I would even feed him two, four, five chapatis, he would not understand कि इतना सारा खा लिया. He would vomit later on. But,
Yes,
his body was obviously not able to accept all this food, but he would not understand कि what is happening with me.
absolutely. And that's why screen timing, screen. See, I won't say to all the busy parents out there, okay, sometimes if you're giving them kids screen to have food, it's okay. But again, understand, if you're not giving screen to your kid, if the kid is not eating food, that means it's not right. You
Hmm.
should always be able, there should always be a healthy alternative. And healthy alternative comes from a lifestyle also, not only in perspective of food only. It comes from a lifestyle, right? So sources, somebody has asked me, Ruchi, sources of fibrous foods. So sources of fibrous foods are a lot of there for kids. I would just say that don't make your eat lot of raw food. Always make them eat lot of cooked food. After 4 p.m., avoid lot of raw food, making them eat lot of raw food. It is not going to give them any kind of fiber. It will unnecessarily turn into acidity or ama, what we call in Ayurveda, toxin. So do not give them raw food after 4 p.m. After 4 p.m., give them food which is very warm, like khichdi, dalia. Somebody also asked me a dalia recipe. So there are multiple dalias recipe. Whosoever asked me, I cannot give you just one recipe here. So there are multiples. You can always reach out to me on a later other different platforms.
I
But
feel that go back to your mom for these recipes. Like they have the best
yeah,
recipes with them. Our mothers, our mother-in-laws, like like my mother-in-law has a soup recipe, I think, for any kind of ailment we have. Like if somebody is having a
yeah,
stomachache, she will have a different soup recipe. If somebody is not feeling
absolutely.
well, she will tell me कि ये वाला soup बना लो, ये वाला veggies use कर लो. So they know all these things. So it is better to go to them to ask these things always कि
You
आज
should, you
मम
should, you should.
yes कि आज फीवर है तो
Yeah.
क्या बनाऊं आज ये हो
क्या
रहा है तो
बनाएं?
and they will always give you the best recipes.
Best recipes. And homemade, what we discuss here is homemade things. Homemade healthier options are always good. Don't try that kid is coming तो मैं उसी वक्त कुछ ना कुछ गरम बना के दे दूँ. That's best. But for all the busy moms, try या Saturdays, Sundays में already कुछ बना के रख रहे हो अपने घर पे so that your kid can always snack onto it. And that's your responsibility. As I said,
Mhm.
if you are responsible for your eating, you're also responsible for your kid. If you want to be in shape, in proper good health and everything, your kid is everything that he needs or she needs right now. Correct?
Yeah.
Also, one thing I wanted to mention over here, that make your kid sit if it is really possible. Being a yoga from a yoga perspective, this is coming. Make your kid sit in maybe sukhasan, what we call, or sitting down on the floor and then eat the food. Specifically for the kids who are maybe 5 years and above, not before that. I completely get it, but make them eat it because when you make them eat while sitting, your back posture is absolutely straight, and then you're able to digest food very well. There's a vagus nerve in our esophagus system, in our digestive system, which directly goes to your digestive system and help accumulate that food. So I'm not saying that do it on a regular basis, but your kids should know what are the uh, good habits if you sit on the floor, maybe on a mat or something, and then eat your food. That's the best way to eat it. So if you can incorporate that, that's amazing.
We do that too. Like
Yeah.
we sit in a big thal and eat in our culture.
Yes,
Um,
yeah, that's something very nice, Rahila. I always appreciate that. I have seen it multiple times. I have few
yeah.
friends who do that, and I really appreciate that. This is the best thing.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, so it is,
So,
yeah.
Vijayata, do you want to summarize what we have talked about for parents? Like, what are the practical and stress-free ways they can introduce better habits at home, so that they are not making food a battle at home? Like, do you have a summary for us, for all the parents here?
To all the parents, the summary would be number one, try to bring, I mean, rather than saying no to a lot of things, rather than saying avoid word, try to use the word, let's add something to your plate different. Let's add something different to your plate. Let me add this. Let me add the way I said for colors, start adding things in your kid's plate rather than saying that it is a cheat meal or maybe it is a sugar food, it is processed food, junk food. That creates a negativity in a kid's mind. They don't know what is junk food, they don't know what is processed food. So don't use it. Try to use healthy alternatives. Try healthy alternatives in food vocabulary. So that is one thing I want to tell to parents. Number two, make your kids play a lot. Okay, that's something I did not mention here, but at least 1.5 hours your kids should play. That's very important for the protein synthesis in their body. So make your kids go out and play as much as they can. Number three, understand the emotion that they are coming from. Whether it is a sweet craving, it is a spice craving, it is what any kind of craving it is, please understand the emotion behind that craving, because cravings always come from imbalances of dosha that you have, that a kid can have, or
Mm.
imbalance of hormones, what we can call,
Yeah.
in their body. So understand that emotion. And number four, most importantly, if you have made up a schedule, may make a schedule for your kids, that's the best thing,
Yeah.
because eating in discipline, anything in discipline is good, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people do not, they make them. So I had a question that my kid want everything after 2 hours or 1 hour, or every 2.5 hours my kid wants something. I would
Grazing
not.
is not at all recommended. Yeah. Yeah, some kids
Correct.
have developed that habit of grazing a lot, like every.
Raising a lot. So
Hmm.
do not do over snacking. Understand, again, you need to understand. You need to divert that thinking with your sitting with your kid, talking to your kid. Maybe one, if the kid is coming to you and telling you, okay, I'm hungry, I need something again. Try to divert. Take them maybe you can go ahead and make a drawing with them, tell them a story, get them involved in something else. But that craving has to be reduced, because again, eating a lot of snack every second hour is again a craving.
Yeah, and it definitely affects their main meals. Like
Main
when they,
meals.
yeah,
Yeah,
when they sit for their main meals, they don't want to eat those.
they don't want to eat those.
And
And most importantly, yeah,
and
Rahila.
I feel even moms feel exhausted because of this. Like you're always in that serving mode for your kids in that
Yeah,
manner.
Yeah, absolutely. Lot of just one thing that one most important thing that I want to mention. Try to avoid giving a lot of protein to your kids after in that at the time of dinner. Protein should be because protein is difficult to digest, not easily digestible for the kids until and unless your kid is playing for at least 1.5 hours outside the house. If the kid is not playing outside the house for 1.5 hours, don't give too much of paneer, too much of non-vegetarian food or meat or fish, not even eggs in the time of evening dinners. You can give all of this to them in the morning time. Coming on to last question, which I'm getting, which I'm reading and I'm getting a lot. Fruits after 4 p.m. is not a great option because they most of the fruits are citrus, they're acidic in nature. I would not recommend giving them after 4 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah, but don't
Not
you
every
think,
fruit.
Vijayata, that some kids, like they're not, like somebody had also mentioned that the child is not available for a lot of day at home, so something is better than nothing, like not having fruit as an option throughout the day,
Then
then.
try to pick options of fruits that are non-acidic in nature. Like you can try to give apple to them. You can try
Hmm.
giving so different options. I would not recommend. So summers are coming. You can try giving banana. Not in the time of winters. Banana should not be given after 4 p.m. But
Hmm.
because now we are approaching towards summer in India, so you can try giving banana to them. No grapes, oranges, kiwis, or these fruits should be strawberries, any kind of antioxidant fruits should not be given after 4 p.m.
Hmm.
Unnecessary, they will मतलब what I call in Ayurveda is पित्त को आपके digestive fire जो अग्नि होती है उसको imbalance करेंगे. That's not really great. So,
Okay.
foods which are non-acidic, as I mentioned, apple, pear, also you can give
Hmm.
after 4 p.m. Banana, you can give after 4 p.m. And this is more than enough. One fruit or two fruit a day is more than enough. You don't have to indulge your kid into fruit platter.
Hmm.
That fruits also give you a high sugar rush. Yeah, I hope if you know that. So try
Yes.
in case the kid is coming back from school at 4 p.m., give them the food there away. Fruit, first thing you can give is fruit. But I would always say that whenever your kid is leaving for house, try to give one or two slice of fruits that time only. See, ultimately, Rahila, what happens when we are growing up now, tendency, the market, the exposure, the world, the environment we are living into will force us to eat a lot of fruits, a lot of veggies, raw veggies, a lot of protein. This is how we are supposed to behave, what society wants us to. But this is actually not the truth. Every cooked food is very good for your body. So that's the
Yeah.
only reason. But fruits are amazing, but if eaten at the right time. And
Hmm.
depends on the doshas as well, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see you guys have a lot of questions. So we have Vijeta on our group also. So you guys can reach out to her for a consultation or anything that you want to know more about. So, you can get your personalized queries answered with her. I am really, really glad, Vijeta, that we could do this today. And
Yes,
it was
absolutely,
a
Rahila.
very, very enlightening session. I'm sure parents who joined in today got a lot of value from you. And if you guys have anything else you want to add in, you can just type in the chat. We can just wait for 5 more minutes.
Shailaja, how to know about doshas? For that, you will have to consult me. I cannot tell the dosha right away here.
Yeah, I'm really glad that it helped you all over here. And we will try and see if the recording can be uploaded, and we'll just update about that later. I'll just stop the recording.